Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're continuing in the Zera Shimshon. We're in Parshat Tisa Ois Vav. This parsha brings a few times the mitzvah of Shabbos. The Zera Shimshon in this piece is going to focus not just on the great mitzvah of Shabbos, but in addition to the great mitzvah of getting ready for Shabbos on Erev Shabbos. What powerful inyan is there to get ready and to prepare properly, even already on Erev Shabbos? And everybody knows there's pressure, there's stress, the Yetzer Hara. Everybody realizes that no matter how long Erev Shabbos is, no one's ever ready. There's always pressure. There's always things the last minute. People are running and coming, and all of a sudden, as soon as Shabbos comes, it's all calm. So we understand that something's going on where the Yetzer Hara is really trying to prevent us from properly getting ready on Erev Shabbos, and on the contrary, is doing everything possible to ruin the avoid of Erev Shabbos. And we're going to see a little bit what is the inyan, why is Erev Shabbos so special. So the Zera Shimshon brings a medrash in the Yalkut. V'shomer b'nei Yisrael es ha-Shabbos, la'asois es ha-Shabbos l'doiroisam, to do Shabbos for generations. Rabbi Nosson says on this pasuk, which is in this week's parsha, minayin ata oimer, shekol mishir mishamer es ha-Shabbos kisikuna. Rabbi Nosson says, how do we know that anybody that watches, is careful with Shabbos in the right way, malalov hakasuf, sheshamar kol ha-Shabbosos. The Torah considers it that a person who does Shabbos properly, which we'll see what that means, it's like he kept all the Shabbosos miyoim shebara HaKadosh Baruch Hu olam ad sheyichyu hamesim. If somebody is zoiche to properly keep Shabbos, the Torah considers it as you kept every Shabbos in the world, from the beginning of time till the end of time. Shenema v'shomru b'nei Yisrael es ha-Shabbos, la'asos ha-Shabbos l'doiraisam, for all the generations. Right? Obviously, Parshat means l'doiraisam means that we should keep Shabbos for all the future generations. The Medrash says l'doiraisam means for all the generations. V'hutema, says the Zera Shimshon, that's a great wonder. The heich efsha sheyitnu l'schar mimashal hashamar. How could you get schar for keeping a Shabbos that 250 years ago that we weren't around? It's true, Gilgulim and all that stuff, but let's leave that aside for a moment. Parshat, 500 years ago, most of us were not around. And for sure, there were times in the world that even with Gilgulim, we weren't around. So how could it be? V'hutema, the heich efsha sheyitnu l'schar mimashal hashamar. V'oid, Mahu kiskuna. What does it mean? Kisikuna, like he's misaken Shabbos. It shouldn't be. If a person does Shabbos properly, if he watches, if he lasos, if asa Shabbos, if shomer Shabbos. What's the interesting word kiskuna? V'od yesh lidaktik b'pasuk shehuskuru. Excuse me. By shtei pa'amim the word Shabbos. Why does it say twice Shabbos? And in addition, Berishon it says Vishamru is a Shabbos, and then it says Lasos is a Shabbos. Why the different word? What's the nuance over here? So the Zera Shimshon brings three unbelievable questions. Number one, how could it be that Hashem is giving us reward for Shabbosim that we didn't do, and Shabbosim that we didn't even do yet? In addition, what does the word kisikuna mean? What are we fixing? The word kisikuna means to fix, to be misaken. So it's a funny thing to say. If you fix Shabbos like you were supposed to, then this is the reward. What are we fixing? We should be keeping Shabbos. We should be doing Shabbos. And the third thing is, when the Torah says Shabbos twice, one time it says V'shama is a Shabbos, and the second time it says Lasis is a Shabbos. What's the difference? The Noida, and the Zera Shimshon brings in Ari, Ki be'erev Shabbos maschil lehisnoitzeit ba'adam eze ha'orish al neshama yisera, that a person should know that already on Erev Shabbos, the neshama yisera starts to enter his body. How that works exactly, it's hard to know. But Lamaisa, the or of Shabbos already starts to permeate in the world on Erev Shabbos. There's a famous story, I believe it was with the original, I'm not 100% sure, that they once asked him, how do you know when it's Shabbos? Right? There were no clocks, he was in the field. He says, what do you mean? I look at Shemayim and I see it's a different Shemayim. The world is different. When Shabbos comes, the world is different. And that change already starts around Chatzos. That's why many people don't work after Chatzos. There's no Sin Bracha. That's why people already start to getting ready Shabbos in earnest after Chatzos. Because the Neshama Yisera starts to spark up in a person already on Erev Shabbos. Like it says, Yom Hashishi, on the sixth day. Ha-hey Yisera, the extra hey. What's Hashishi? The hey, how you do it? Should have said Yom Shishi. The hey comes to teach us, the hey is the numerical value of 5, that somebody who's buried in Eretz Yisrael after the 5th hour, he has a special bracha, Nitzel Mechibed HaKever, because it's already almost Shabbos. Shabbos already started, and there's no Gehenim, there's no din. A person who's Zoicha to be buried Erev Shabbos, the 5th hour into the day, has a special bracha. It's a special schus. The 6th day, as we mentioned in the Agdama, is the important day to get ready for Shabbos. Api Chasidus, Api Kabbalah, sometimes the Hachana is much more important than the actual Inyan. To prepare yourself in the right frame of mind and Tahara is much better and more important than the actual Inyan. Right? The best marshal I can give is that it takes somebody 4 or 5 hours to prepare a meal, but in 20 minutes the whole meal is done. It's a great meal. People enjoyed it. They loved it. They got refreshed. They got energy from it. They were satiated, and they made a bracha afterwards. Right? The achata v'savata. But how long did it take to prepare the food? 4 or 5 hours sometimes. It could be sometimes even overnight. You got to leave the food to cook overnight. So you see that sometimes the Indian to prepare yourself in the right frame of mind with the right tahara sometimes actually makes the mitzvah better. There's a much bigger Indian in the preparatory part of getting ready for the mitzvah than the actual mitzvah itself. And that's a hint over here. To prepare his clothing, to take a haircut if he has to shave if he has to go take a shower. There's a special mitzvah to greet Shabbos. There's a special mitzvah to wait for Shabbos to come. Right? A person whose spouse went away for a long time and they're coming back, you're waiting on edge. You're waiting on shpilkes for them to come. Right? Your wealthy uncle is coming to visit you. You're right, and every time he comes, he gives you a fat check because he loves you and you love him. So he calls you up and he's telling you that he's coming. You're on pins and needles. Well, where is he already? I'm waiting for him. I want to see him. That is the same hargasha we have to have when it comes to Shabbos. We have to work on ourselves, right? If we really understood what Shabbos was, both Ruchnius and the Gashmius, we would be literally hanging out the window waiting for Shabbos to come. Besides all the other nyanim of Moisev Chol, Moisev Kedusha ala Chol, but that's not the point here. The point here is the preparatory part of the 6th day of Erev Shabbos is exceedingly important. In addition, as we explained, there's a tremendous inyan on the neshama of a person and everybody that's connected to that root neshama, as we're going to see in a second, regarding how one conducts themselves on Erev Shabbos. We're Perek Beis de Chagiga, Tanya, Shimon Lechasud Omer, Asher Kumtu V'Lo Eis. There's a pasuk that discusses that HaKadosh Baruch Hu really created 974 generations before the world was created. Taf Kuf Ayin Dalid Doros. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for one reason or another, did not create. V'Lo Nivru. Now, Lamaisa, there are neshamas to have to come into this world, right? Part of the reason that Hashem did it was because it was before Matan Torah, before Avraham Avinu. Okay, there's a lot of inyanim why that happened, but the Gemara Chagiga says that Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu u'shas l'mechol davar dar. HaKadosh Baruch Hu planted in every generation a little bit from these neshamas that were supposed to be born. V'hein hein azei panim shabedar. These are the chutzpah niyakim of the dar. They're the rishonim of the dar. It seems to be, I'm not 100% sure that these referring to Jews. The Kasu Mekubalim. Now the Mekubalim tell us a deep secret here. How do these individuals get a tikkun? You know how they get a tikkun? When we do our avodah on Erev Shabbos, it's Mesaken Dem Shabbos. The Kasu Mekubalim. The Mekubalim write. Right? This is the Ramami Pano. This is other great Gedolim. They wrote that Sha'amitzvus she'anu oisim be'erev Shabbos l'chavod Shabbos heinu tikkun le'elu doros. These are the tikkun for the generations that were not created and were rather planted in these worlds. Shekein Erev Shabbos, if you take the letters of Erev Shabbos, has the same gematria as 974. And therefore, now we understand, says the Zera Shimshon, what the pasuk means. When you're Mesaken Shabbos properly, how are you Mesaken Shabbos properly? When you get ready on Erev Shabbos, in honor of Shabbos, you're now fixing all the Shabbosim that these generations were not able to do. And because you're fixing all these generations, you get the reward for it. It's like you did it, right? When you help somebody keep Shabbos, it's like you kept Shabbos, right? And therefore, when on Erev Shabbos, Shu Shomer Umamtim Shiyov Shabbos, Lekabla B'Kedusha B'Tarek, they last us a Shabbos Kisikunai, as we says, the Misha Tarek Erev Shabbos, Yoichel B'Shabbos, as Yanechshav like Ilu Shimer Kol HaShabbosis Meyoyim Shenivra Olam Atchis HaMesim. So if we understand the tremendous reward that we get when we act the right way on Erev Shabbos, when we get ready, when we prepare, when we're mitzape, we are ready, and not we're running to shul. Already before Shabbos starts, we are ready for Shabbos. That is the ultimate level. As we gave the example, you're waiting for your uncle, your father to come. You're waiting for that spouse. You're waiting for your best friend to come. That is the way that we should work on ourselves. It's very hard, obviously, because every Shabbos is the same. It's 52 times a year. Every year, it becomes a little bit rote. But if we a play on words, right? If we prepare ourselves with the mindset that Erev Shabbos is coming, and it's a tremendous matana that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to us. And not only that, we're doing chesed for all the neshamas that need tikkunim, and Hashem will consider it as we kept all the Shabbosim from the beginning of time till the end of time. We should be running. And getting ready the table, the food, all the things that are needed for Shabbos. It's like Ki'ilu Tikin Kol HaNeshamas B'Shmiras Erev Shabbos, and that will help all the neshamas. Now, why does it say Shtei Pam Shabbos? One is you're waiting for Shabbos to come, and then is the actual mitzvah of keeping Shabbos. There's obviously we all know that unless you know Hilchah Shabbos, you can't know Shabbos. It's impossible, right? Even it's true, we're all shoygigs, but Lamaisa, we have to speak frankly that even when a person doesn't have Avera b'shoygig, it creates tum in the world. Yes, maybe Hashem won't punish him. Hashem understands that he's b'shoygig. Hashem doesn't come with kindness to somebody. Hashem will have a different time of why didn't you learn Hilchah Shabbos? But assuming that for whatever reason he can't. But Lamaisa, when a person doesn't have Avera, he generates tum in the world. He has to fix that. We know, says the Gemara, that two malachim accompany a person when he comes home. And if he does Shabbos properly, they give him a bracha. So that gives chizik to the next Shabbos, so on and so forth. That's why it says, Zochar v'shamar. A person who keeps Shabbos and remembers Shabbos by knowing all the dinim, it will be a schus for him to be able to continue to keep Shabbosim. Now, when we learn the Zera Shimshon, this beautiful piece, we should try our best, I'm talking obviously to myself, Rosh V'Rishon, a little bit to get ready for Shabbos, a little bit, it's not for ourselves, it's for the neshamas that need tikkunim, and Memela Hashem will give us the idea that we also kept more Shabbosim, and that will be a tremendous schus for us, for Klal Yisrael, and with the schus that will bring the ultimate geula, the ultimate Shabbos, the geula shleima, amen, ken yiratzeh.